Hello everybody, I am here today to make an under the sea aquarium. I am using my We Are Memory Keepers gift bag punch board, and I have some clear acetate here, which is an entire sheet of A4, which is 8.5 by 11. Now, I am using the settings on the punch board for a large size. What I'm doing is I am not using the side slits that fold the gift bag in. All I'm doing is I'm doing a large front, a narrow middle, large front and narrow middle, and then I'm flipping the acetate over to the other side and also repeating that same pattern so that I can get a box. So I bought this tool I believe late last year, and I haven't been making many projects with it on YouTube, but I have been doing a whole lot of projects at home with it, and I discovered that it is a great box maker. I then used my rectangle die here, and I cut out an opening on one of the large sides so that I could make the opening for the aquarium. I am now just folding everything together. This took a little bit of time. It takes a while to train the acetate to take the shape that you want it to take. It kept bouncing back and stiffening up and not wanting to bend, and I wrestled with it quite a bit, and I just saved you some of that footage. I now have it in a beautiful stationary box-like manner, and I'm going to start now building my aquarium. I used one of the journaling 4x6 journaling cards from the Echo Park We Are Under the Sea collection pattern paper, and I used that as the background. And then for the bottom of the aquarium, I used gold glitter paper to simulate sand. I have this pretty anchor, a 2-die anchor by Kaisercraft, and I have one that's just an anchor and one that's like a ship's wheel on an anchor, and I die cut that out of thick silver cardstock. I thought I was going to put it at the front there, but then I decided that I was actually going to add some PVA glue, and then I have this Flower Soft, which I have not used in a long time, and I thought I would add the Flower Soft onto the glue and make it look like this is an anchor that had been dropped in the aquarium a long time ago. It now has algae growing on it, and it's all furry and alive and a bit nasty, and I really love how it turned out. So I'm putting that to the side to stiffen and harden and dry. Next, I am going to be creating some underwater plant life. I have a couple of sets that have like seaweed and coral and such. One is a Kaisercraft stamp set called, I think, Coastal Escape, which is this one here, and the other is just a mermaid stamp that I got from a magazine. And it's got the shell and the little seaweed. Now what I've done here is I'm using my Nuvo crystal drops, and I'm just putting down like puffy or dimensional color. So green for the coral and then blue for the seaweed. Next, what I'm going to do is, while it's still wet, I'm applying these seed beads, so green on green, to make it look like the seaweed bulbs, kind of that kind. That's what I was going for, give it extra dimension. After I let it dry, I still found that the seed beads were kind of letting go, so I decided to put glossy accents to hold them in place, plus add that extra dimension. I did the same with the seaweed, blue seaweed as well. I just did that off camera. Now for the shells, I did a couple of things. One, I used glitter paste, the Bo Bunny glitter paste, and then I added sequins. The second one, I added just glue and then added the seed beads to. The third one, which I'm doing here, is I'm using the liquid pearls, and then adding just a little bit of glue on top, and then adding sequins, gold sequins, for that extra dimension and extra shimmer. This is what I'm doing here. So I'm just adding the sequence to this last one. So there's 3 different things that I did to the shells, and you can pick and choose depending on your supplies. Now, after I had let that seed bead and the glossy accents dry, I fussy cut it, and then it looked like it was really white in between, so I used my oxides to just give it a little bit of color in between, and I think that I was really happy with the way that coral was now. So now it is time to start building my aquarium, and I have a few things, because we do live by the beach. I have a nice collection of things that I find on my walks. I have this gorgeous shell, which I can't believe I found this. It is on my shelf, has been on my shelf for a long time, and I'm now using it like it's getting stuck down here with hot glue, so it's going to be in this aquarium for life. I also have these like little corals that have obviously broken off in the sea and have washed up on shore. I love this. It has like a honeycomb sort of texture. I can just imagine little baby fishies and whatnot hiding inside and then coming out. So that's the base. That's kind of going to be the basis of my aquarium. I'm trying to play with, trying to angle this aquarium so that I can work on it, plus allow you guys to see it. Plus I'm taking photos for a step-by-step blog, so please excuse this continuous tilting. I try to edit as much as I can out. I have pieces of wood to make it seem like, you know, flotsam that have washed out on shore. I have pieces of just old, twisted, broken shells that are beautiful and smooth that my son also picks up, so I put that down. And I also have started putting some of that blue seaweed in the crevices of that piece of coral, and then again here in the piece of the wood in the back there, or the wood chip that I have, the little log. I'm just kind of seeing how it goes. I'm putting things, then taking them out, and seeing how I feel. There's no right or wrong. This is your art. You do what you like. I really like how that's turning out here. And anywhere where I've put the hot glue and it kind of looks visible, I've added a little bit of seed bead to make it look like there's just, you know, algae or whatnot on top of the sand. I did decide to cut down the large seaweed, this green one here, and I'm trying to decide whether it's going to be in the back or the front or behind shells, and I know I want it in the right hand corner. I just needed to mold it a little bit better, so I cut some of it down to make it look really good in the corner of the aquarium. I put a little bit at the back there amongst the blue seaweed, and I think that looks good. Here we go now with the corner. I think I figure out how to get it in there. Adding the shells, that's right. Okay, so I added the shells next. I'm kind of leaning them against the real shells in the back. And trying to figure out where the anchor is going to go. I know it's going to go in the back there in the background. Sometimes you don't see things straight away, but if you look at a piece long enough, you start seeing like, oh, there's an anchor in the back there. So the anchor is in, the shells at the front. Here are all the little guys which I cut out of the paper. Look at that crab. That crab is just so perfect. He doesn't stay in that position though. Like I said, I try to do things and I'd walk away and I'd come back and think, no, I've got a better way. So I had this idea. I've got this piece of acetate which I'm cutting down now. I then fold it underneath the log and I stick it up and then add the turtle to it, and he kind of wobbles forward and backward to give the turtle some motion, so the turtle looks like he is swimming in midair, and you can hardly see the acetate unless you look really closely. So I love how the turtle is like swimming in the middle of the aquarium. Here we go. I did add the coral green seaweed on the right hand side there, and I did add a shell at the bottom with the sequins in there. The octopus is coming in next. The octopus is going to peek in from behind the blue and the green seaweed. I've added the dolphin up the top there to make it look like he was, you know, doing flips up up at the top. I then added Nemo facing the other direction of the turtle, so he was going one way and the other guy was going the other way. I did think about putting some of those doodlebug stickers, however they were a different color. They were pinks and purples, and they didn't go with the blues and the oranges in this paper collection, so I did leave them out. I've added, I cut out another little fishy, and I kind of added him next to one of the other seaweed grasses on the right there. So it just looks like there's the, you can have a look, you see the turtle, the clownfish, the little fish, and then the octopus peeking his head in the background there. The crab looks so fantastic at the front there on the left hand side behind the blue seagrass. And then I love the seahorse on the right hand side with the shell and the green coral. I added more of the green coral behind the crab on the left here. Now to the top, I felt like this was done, my aquarium was full of amazing little creatures. I then just had this flimsy lid that I did tape down. However, you could see the tape, and I didn't like that you could see the tape. So I decided to cut some of this jute ribbon, or this hessian if you want to call it that, and I wanted to make like a top. So I'm using double-sided adhesive paper here, and I'm cutting it down to the same size as the width of the ribbon. The ribbon is sewed down on either side, so I undid the thread that was keeping them down, and it just ended up being the perfect side, like lid for this aquarium. So I'm just adding that in the middle here. I'm then gonna burnish it down, and I'm gonna peel off the top layer. Just cutting down. I didn't want it to stick to the overhang of the ribbon. I wanted the ribbon to overhang over the lip of the box or the aquarium where you could see the double-sided sticky tape. So here we go, burnish this down. And then I'm going to apply it, and it's going to cover the lid of my aquarium. Alright, here we go. This is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a little shack actually, but I really love how that looks. And I did end up pulling some of the ribbon off to decrease the size of that overhang, and then I just kept folding it under to train it to follow the box of the aquarium. And there you go, you guys. I tried to put an anchor there, and it just wasn't right. This was just enough. And here we go. This is my under the sea aquarium. I totally adored this project. I don't know why I've never made an under the sea aquarium before. I really enjoyed playing with the different textures and bringing this underwater scene into my life. Have a great day today. Thank you so much.